Today's topic is that visa processing is speeding up dramatically. I don't know, but here's the deal, folks. The cases are speeding up, fortunately, and let's talk about, but not every case. Okay, we're talking about the topic here was about visas, meaning immigrant and non-immigrant visas. But in terms of the State Department, okay, in terms of visas, this is, let me pull it up here. What I like to look at is anything updated. But just generally speaking, when we looked at the visa statistics, we like to check it every 1 or 2 weeks. They have shared information. It's a little bit late, it's a little delayed, like about a month or two, but they do a pretty good job in sharing data. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell us like, oh, this particular case was filed X time, so it took about 6 months or something from NVC documentary qualified until interview, and then a lot of y'all called us, and then you have the interview, but then the visa is not issued until maybe a year or two later. So that's very unfortunate, because when that happens and a lot of delay, that's not your fault. It's all because of the government. Background check, they tell literally everyone your case undergoing background check, even if your case is with USCIS. So when that's the case, you may have to file a lawsuit sooner, right? Because in some of our cases, because it's been so long of any activity, essentially since the interview, they tend to ask for the medical exam again. Very, very frustrating, right? You have to pay more money, and naturally, with the medical clinic, they're not going to do things for free. I mean, some clinics in the U.S., fortunately, we recommend, see if there's a way you can get one updated, because you're not really redoing the exam unless they really recommend it for some reason. But hopefully they can just, print out everything the same and just sign it with a new date. And then sometimes they even ask, well, then you have to pay the immigrant fees again. Ridiculous. All because the government was slow. So, but yeah, in general, cases, it does seem to be a lot more visas issued. But at the same time, kind of like a typical lawyer answer, it depends. We don't know exactly when those cases were filed. So we don't know how long people have been waiting for it to finally get the visa issued to you. Okay, so here it is on YouTube and Facebook at least. Okay, I'm looking at the U.S. News website, and one of the more recent ones is from June 8th, so not that recent, but not too far off. The title is Facilitating Travel and Safeguarding National Security. They have been more and more stringent on this when the person's abroad, okay, outside the United States. And unfortunately, what they're trying to say is we're trying to efficiently process visas as best as possible, and reducing the time required for AP, administrative processing. But we all know that's likely not going to happen. They say they're trying, but administrative processing does include a lot of different things, which they have noted here. A range of possible additional steps may be required depending on the applicant's individual circumstances. But essentially, it includes like national security vetting. It's ridiculous. And they said they have new technology. It's 2023, folks. What kind of new technology are they asking for here? But anyway, that new technology will help reduce the number of visa applications that would be in administrative processing for security grounds, while upholding the strict national security protections. This is all to appease the conservatives in America, because now we can use this as evidence, or they can in Congress, to say, look, we are trying to be more stringent on national security. But unfortunately, when that happens, some clients could get stopped because of national security reasons. And unfortunately, when they just tag national security on as an inadmissibility ground, there's nothing you can do about it. One thing we could do possibly is file a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, to Department of State and ask for any documents they may have, information they may have on that person, on the applicant. Because, for example, if you're here, you just had this happen to you, and this whole thing about administrative processing and time period, I know some people are like, well, it's only been 4 months, it's only been 3 months since the interview. For me, I don't care so much. I just don't think that we should allow the government to continue just pushing people around and being bullies on and say, oh, you have to wait, quote unquote, 6 months. That's like the old unspoken rule, I guess you could say. It's not on any website that I've seen from the government, especially the State Department, but people are concerned about that. I know many lawyers say, oh, you got to wait 6 months. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. The embassy of, for example, like I was looking at the Islamabad embassy in Pakistan, their website itself says 2 months, 60 days for administrative processing. So whatever the hell they got going on in there, it's ridiculous. They got to figure stuff out, and they won't figure it out if there's not any lawsuits. So I know my colleagues and I are filing lawsuits anywhere, but at least with Pakistan, because man, they have too many people delayed, way too many people. But essentially, if you're considering to file a new case, I don't want to say it's not worth it, but I would hate that the if you already got tagged with national security ground and military ground, it's really, I would think, important to know, well, how do they come to that determination? And of course, the government will try to hide that information. So if anything, try any avenue possible to get that. Now there's something called basically like a visa refusal determination, trying to essentially not appeal. They don't call it appeal, but just trying to find more information, essentially requesting a legal opinion on why the State Department came up with that determination. So that's another thing we're trying to do when people are tagged with national security, in addition to FOIA, if people want to go through that. Because of these delays, some people give up on the relationship. It's very unfortunate to hear. So anyway, just want to share the real time, real life situation with these cases.